my guest tonight for Talking Pints, he has been part of a team that won 2 Division 1 championships, 2 FA Cups, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup. He was the Football Writers' Association Footballer of the Year in 1985. He was Wales's Sports Personality of the Year in 1995. In December 2004, he was voted Everton's all-time cult hero. But most important of all, tonight's Talking Pints guest, Neville Southall, comes from Llandudno. Welcome. 15 years old, living here, and you're playing for Llandudno Town. Were you always good at were you always good in goal? Was it always a natural talent?
I don't know, really. It's for other people to decide that, isn't it? I did okay.
Well, I think they did, but...
I did okay in the end, didn't I? So, yeah.
Well, did okay. I mean, at one point, you were arguably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah. I don't think you think about that, do you? You just do what you got to do, and because if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it. And I don't see what the point in doing a job if you're not going to be trying to be the best at it.
Well, you did it for a very, very long time, too.
Yeah, well, similar to you, yeah.
Yeah, well, yes, I've been very persistent. Don't worry about that. 92 caps for your national team. Good to see Wales in this year's World Cup.
Yeah, it was good to see him get there. It was a disappointing tournament in the end, but then we've had a good tournament in the Euros. Went to the World Cup, didn't have such a good time, but they're both learning curves. So at least the younger players have gone there and learned some facts. The manager will have learned a lot from that as well. Sometimes when you have a good tournament, you don't learn as much. So having a bad tournament, yeah, it's disappointing to come away the way we played. You know, and it's disappointing for Gareth and Aaron and Joe. You know, they looked as if they hadn't done themselves justice, really. So, yeah, I think they've got unfinished business. Hopefully take us to the next Euros.
But good to be there after, was it 64 years?
Yeah, but you can say that about anything, can't you? It's good to be there. You've got to be a bit more ambitious than being good to be.
You're very competitive, aren't you?
No, I don't see the point in, you know, everyone keeps saying it's great to get there. In one sense, it's great.
Yeah. But
they have to learn now how to get to tournaments on a regular basis. And our problem now is finding the next Gareth Bale, finding the next Aaron Ramsey, finding the next Joe Allen. If we don't do that, we're going to struggle.
How good do England look?
Unfortunately, very good. They seem okay. They look as if they've got a chance of winning. They've got people all over the pitch who can score goals. Physically, they're strong. They're in good nick. They don't concede many goals. Yeah. The only problem with England they've got is the media, because the media actually kill them.
It's pretty vicious, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they're either, you know, top of the universe or falling off a cliff. There's no in between for them. But you know as well as I know that the press are useless.
Well, I mean, their job's to sell newspapers, and
well, they do the same job as you, don't they?
You know. Well, I tell you what I try to do. I try to get people of all different opinions on this programme, regardless whether I agree with them, disagree with them, let them have their say. And I think that's, you know, in a democracy, what we ought to be trying to do.
Yeah, well, I've sat here for all night and I've disagreed with nearly 99.9% of it.
Well, here's the chance. Now, we had the local, we've had a couple of Tories on tonight, we've had an independent on tonight. You are, Neville, a strong supporter of the Labour Party. Yeah,
I believe in looking after the most vulnerable. And I think that's what any good country should be doing. And we don't seem to be doing it. We seem to be always loading it at the top. We should be looking at the bottom of the rung. That the most vulnerable people in our society should be treated with the greatest respect and dignity and helped. So we don't have that society.
Don't you think, with the benefit system and everything else, we do enough as a country for those at the lower end of the income range?
No, nowhere near.
Really?
No, nowhere near. Why? Why should we keep loading the top up? Why should the people in this world keep getting... The gap between the rich and the poor has got wider and wider.
That's true.
Why is that?
Well, Mr Blair started all that, didn't he?
It doesn't matter who's in power. The way we should be looking at society is how we treat the most vulnerable. And at the moment, we don't treat them very well, do we? Otherwise, electric's gone up, everything's gone up, and what are they going to do for them? Nothing. There'll be people dying this winter. And there'll be people in power who won't give a monkeys.
Labour's been through an interesting swing, hasn't it? Because you had New Labour with Blair. We then went to Corbyn, who was a socialist. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with him, you know, you knew he was a socialist. You knew what he believed in. A lot of the country in the general election didn't seem to like it. But where do you... I mean, Starmer, isn't it almost going back to Blairism, really, Neville?
Well, it is a bit. He's got to try to find a line between keeping businesses on board and really trying to help the left. I think it's nearly an impossible job to be a Labour leader these days. They need to sort the party out in some terms. But I think overall, when I look at what's in power at the moment, I think we've had the most dangerous people in the world. I mean, Boris Johnson, Trump, and...
They're not that bad, are
yes,
they?
They are. They're dangerous. Look what he's done to the country. Boris Johnson was always going to mess up, right? And democracy should be that you go in the House of Commons and you're allowed to tell the truth. And the person who told the truth and called Boris a liar, which he is, and he's been racist and he's been homophobic, she got thrown out.
You don't like Boris, do you?
I don't like Look, I like people who look after the most vulnerable, and none of them do.
All right. What about devolution? Is devolution working for Wales? I know you've been a big supporter of this idea.
Well, it can't do, can it? Because we haven't got full power.
Right, you want full tax-raising power in Cardiff?
Yes, I think that'd be a sensible thing to do. Well, why are you going half the way as a job? You might as well go all the way. If we're Welsh, and the other thing is the Prince of Wales should live in Wales, not somewhere else, because that's his job. He's a Prince of Wales, so he should live there and work for the country. And I think...
If you want...
Yeah.
OK, I mean, just following through what you're saying, and I know you believe in that, it's good you're on, because you're providing a good counter to what we heard earlier. If you want to go that way with Welsh devolution, would you also support Wales being separate from the United Kingdom?
I think it will come eventually. I don't think we have to force it. I think naturally, I think the Tories will starve Wales to the point of... because they don't want them to succeed because they're Labour. And whatever people say, it'll generally remain Labour for the next... well, till I die probably, however long that is. And then I think it'll gradually, eventually go to independent. England don't want us.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
I don't. I really don't.
Well, yeah, I think we always disagree, don't we?
No, well, we're allowed to disagree. It's a good day. That's why we're having a drink and talking about it over a bit. You may be right. I don't know. I don't see it myself, but you may be right.
Why do they kick up a fuss about Scotland and do nothing for us?
Well, I tell you what. The government would argue that actually, of tax revenues that are raised, Wales gets its fair share.
Yeah, but it's not enough, is it?
Well...
it's not enough, is it? Blatantly not enough.
What are we going to do? Do you think we should tax the rich more?
Yeah, look, and I think it should be done locally at times. If there's a place where, you can tax the local big companies and that tax goes into the local community, I think it's a good thing. I think anybody, what is a normal sum of money for anybody to earn? See, Premier League footballers should be taxed a lot more. I think anybody over a certain amount of money should be taxed properly.
The trouble is they'll go somewhere else then, won't they?
So what, they go somewhere else? What are we trying to build here? Are we trying to satisfy our people? Or are we trying to look after our people?
All right, no, Neville, I get it. No, you've been involved last few years, education, helping people who are disadvantaged. Mm-hmm. Charity has a role to play here too, doesn't it? Not just government.
Yeah, look, this is why we more or less disagree with everything, to be fair, me and you. But... see, I've let refugee charities come on my Twitter.
Yep.
Because the story I hear every day, invasions, this, that and the other, I think is disgraceful.
Do you think young Albanians, do you think thousands of young Albanians...
How many of them, right? How many of them are ex-policemen, ex-firemen, working in the hospitals and that? How many social carers?
Well, at the moment, none. Because they're coming illegally across the English Channel.
How do you know?
How do you know they're not serious criminals?
Well, they could be, but not everybody that crosses that channel is a serious criminal.
No, but don't we have a right...
Yeah, but you started it because it was Brexit. You started Brexit, right?
Well, I wanted border controls.
Yes, you had Brexit.
I did.
Right, so you started Brexit, and then you frightened everybody to death about people who are coming across the water. Them people...
I'm really worried. I'm really worried about it.
I should be really worried, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what you say, right? This is my opinion, that's all.
No, of course.
Right? Well,
no.
Right,
he's allowed to have his say. Shut up.
Yes, and I'm allowed to say what I want to say. Yeah. So I believe, right, that once we came out of Brexit, French were never, ever going to try as hard as what they should have tried to keep people out of Britain. There was no way. Why didn't they build a proper facility in France to sift them through to see which is the right? And I think, and if you go back to the other thing, 80% of Britain is not built on, is it?
Do you know what? I tell you what, Neville, if we had offshore processing and if people that came to Britain were genuine refugees, nobody would argue. It has been a pleasure to have a good political debate with you on Talking Pints, Neville Southall. Thank you very much indeed.